My jokes. Hi, welcome back. Finally at part 4, right? Right? Yeah, it took forever to finally get this out. Turns out listening to the same song over and over again can be a little bit exhausting, so I need to take a rest. I know I did this with The Sound of Silence, and then I decided to do a 6-parter for this. Turns out, in hindsight, it wasn't a good idea, but I said I'd do it, so I'm gonna commit, so here we are. I mean, this is what happens when you listen to the same song for about a week and a half now. I don't know. With the social distancing, everything's just feels like time is all the same, which is very fortunate because that means I haven't had to experience a death through the COVID-19. So that's good. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to a brighter note. Let's talk about Hallelujah. This one decided to go with Rufus Wainwright's live version. I don't have too much to say. Hopefully, this won't go on for 15 minutes. I don't think it will. So, the live version that I put on the playlist, hopefully you listen to it. Not too much to say. Overall, it's pretty much the same song as his album version. That being said, Rufus Wainwright, he sounds a lot different, like, when he's not singing. I mean, that makes sense, don't get me wrong, but it's just weird him going on stage and being like, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and he sounds pretty flamboyant, which is fine, like, it's not a big deal, but his voice just sounds completely different when he sings, which I guess is effective in being an artist. I don't know. I just do music sometimes. So, he has a really nice vibrato, especially when he establishes the first verse, and he switches up the end of each phrase compared to his album version, so he has that, the baffled king composing hallelujah, that little drop off at the end, which I never understood. I mean, it sounds nice. Okay, now I understand it. It sounds nice. That's why they do it. Excuse me, I haven't warmed up my voice. So it sounds nice, and he has that nice hallelujah. Very nice vibrato. He has a really, really nice vibrato. Should I say that one more time? Yeah, I can say that one more time. He has a nice vibrato. The chorus is still the same. What I did notice listening to this song over and over again was how much more emphasis is put on the piano. And I think that just has to do with how it was on stage and when they did the sound test, the mic test, and all that stuff. And at the end of each phrase, so the latter half of each verse, I should say, the latter half of each verse, the intensity of the lower part of the piano is really emphasized. So the doom, doom, doom. If I had a piano, this would make it easier for everyone. But it's very heavy on the piano, especially on the latter half when it talks about a certain type of hallelujah. So that one being cold and broken. And you can really hear the dynamics increase when you hit that second part of the verse with the piano. Also, another thing I did notice, it's actually a lot of it has to do with the wording. So the word drew is used 3 times. The third time it's extended with outdrew. So you can notice if you really listen in on his singing that the first drew, the one that's presented in the second verse, it's very strained. So what I've come to learn, especially about singing, is that there are certain consonants that can really mess up your voice. And especially with the word drew, you have the D, but it's mostly the letter R. So heavy influence on the letter R can really screw up a vowel later. So, and from your lips she drew, and it sounds really strained. I mean, granted, I did that with my, hold on. Oh. And from your lips she drew the hallelujah. You can hear that strain at the end, right? So what's important when singing, especially with the letter R, is to kind of back off from it. So if you notice in, especially like United Kingdom speaking English, not United Kingdom, I mean like British English, they don't really emphasize the letter R. So with the word trees, for instance, let's talk about the word trees. I sang a song with that, and so that's why it comes to my head. The word trees, you wouldn't go like, and the trees, it just naturally, you can hear it. It sounds naturally strange. So you pronounce it in the similar way of like trees. So you really back off of the R so you don't change the vowel. So like, drew. You can still hear the R, but, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. See, it doesn't sound near, it's kind of strained. I need to warm up before I do this, but it didn't sound nearly as strained compared to when Rufus Wainwright did it. She drew! Sounds like something that a boy band would do, actually. But then the second time he uses drew, so this is going to be in the fourth verse, he's really good at maintaining the vowel. So it's like, in every breath we drew was hallelujah. And then you'll notice the third time, and this is on the former half of the verse of the fifth verse that he uses, how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. So I didn't notice that he uses that. Leonard Cohen wrote the word drew 3 times. I find that really interesting because depending on how it's covered, it can cause a lot more strain onto the song, especially when you're trying to hit a certain sentence and a certain phrase, a certain line, whatever, and how that sounds. Because as soon as you say the word drew, it can sound really strained and screw up your hallelujah. Granted, hallelujah is full of vowels, so you're able to catch it, though it's something just to keep in mind. The letter R especially, a lot of artists like to focus on the letter R, and it really screws up your throat and how you pronounce a vowel. And then, yeah, there's not too much to say about this song. Like, it's of the 3 live versions that we're listening to, honestly, this is my least favorite. Now, this isn't to say like it's bad by any means. It's still good. Like, Rufus Wainwright does a really good job. And he still emphasizes the same. I think it's better than his album version, honestly. It still emphasizes the same message that he has. It's still very liturgical. Granted, of the next 2 artists we're listening to, I think it's the weakest. I mean, it's still better than other live versions. Don't worry, I'm not going to say the same group over because they actually sounded really good live. Pentatonic sounded really good live for their Christmas special, which still kind of pisses me off, to be honest with you. So, anyway, bring them up again. In the meantime, listen to Leonard Cohen's live version in London. Have fun. Enjoy it. This one's going to be a little bit longer, so be prepared. See you soon.